The 2005 disappearance of toddler Rahma El-Dennaoui is a case full of suspicion and many theories, but no trace of the 19-month-old has been found since she vanished from her bed in the middle of the night. In the early hours of November 10, 2005, Rahma, dressed in her pink Barbie pyjamas, was put to bed at 2 a.m. next to her two older sisters in their Lyons home in New South Wales. Sometime between the hours of 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. the next morning, the toddler had disappeared. Rahma's brothers and sisters woke up at 7:30 the next morning and told their mother that Rahma was still sleeping. By 8 a.m, Rahma's mother Aliyah sensed that something was wrong. Rahma was always up before that time. The family saw that the toddler was not in her bed, so they frantically searched the house before finding the fly screen to her bedroom window was torn or cut, suggesting a possible abduction of Rahma. A cable drum had been placed under the window, possibly used for someone to climb into the window and abduct the little girl. An extensive investigation took place, including land and water searches of nearby areas and places of interest, but to no avail. 7 months after the disappearance, Rahma's 3-year-old sister claimed that she had seen someone that night, a monster who had long hair and no hands. The family stated that they knew no one who fit that description, and it was just the dream of a little girl. The years went by with no concrete evidence as to what happened to Rahma, and in 2012 there was a coronial inquest. The coroner had many doubts about Rahma's family's involvement in the case. She said that although there was no conclusive evidence that Rahma's family staged a kidnapping, there were many strange aspects of the case, including phone calls where her parents were talking in code, as well as joking and laughing about the kidnapping and splitting the reward money. When Rahma's mother Aliyah was questioned during the inquest about her strange phone calls and making jokes about her daughter's disappearance, she replied, "Do you mean I am not allowed to laugh?" Rahma's father Hussein was also questioned about a phone call where he was asked if the police were going to dig up a property, and he replied, "Maybe they will, but God knows how many bodies they'll find." Another phone call between Hussein and Rahma's aunt had several strange references about cutting the grass and how cutting the grass is not any good. When questioned about this, the aunt admitted that they had suspected that the phone call was being recorded, so they were using code, but that it wasn't in relation to Rahma's disappearance. At the conclusion of the coronial inquest, there was no conclusive evidence to determine what had happened to the little girl, but there were many theories about what could have happened. One was that Rahma's father was a drug dealer, and the toddler swallowed an ecstasy pill by accident, which led to her death. Another theory was that Rahma was not even home that night, spending the night at her aunt's house, sick with a fever. One theory suggests that Rahma's childless uncles may have abducted her and taken her to Lebanon. The most scary theory being that Rahma's own father had beaten his daughter to death in a fit of rage and buried her body. Although there are so many theories and a $250,000 reward on offer, there is no conclusive evidence to say what happened to the toddler, and Rahma has still not been found to this day. What do you think happened to little Rahma El-Dennaoui? Monday the 25th of August 2014 started off just like any other day for Jake Lyons and his dad Rick at their home in Dandenong, Victoria. At 9 a.m, Rick said goodbye to 20-year-old Jake as he left for work, not realising that this would be the last time that he would ever see his son again. That afternoon, Jake's friend came over, as planned, so the two could go and look at rental properties together. He saw that Jake wasn't home and the front door was left open. The friend left, confused, but assuming that Jake had already gone out and perhaps forgot to close the door behind him. Rick returned home at 7 p.m. that night, noticing that Jake was not home and his silver 2006 Holden Astra station wagon were missing. Rick assumed that Jake had just gone out, like he had many times before. As he entered the home, Rick saw that the door was open, which was strange, but it became stranger as Rick saw that the gas stove was left on. Where was Jake? He appeared to have left in a hurry, but this behaviour was out of character for him. Upon further investigation, Rick noticed that Jake had left his phone at home, but it had been dismantled, along with his computer. Rick found this very strange, but still assumed that Jake had just gone out. Rick made several attempts to contact his son over the next few days. I'm not sure exactly how he tried to make contact, as reports have said that Jake's phone and the computer were left at home. But after several days with no word from his son, Rick contacted the police on the 28th of August and listed Jake as a missing person. It is believed that on the day he went missing, Jake went to a supermarket on Springvale Road in Springvale. He was said to have purchased some snacks, a drink, and withdrew $50, although this has not been confirmed by police. On the 31st of August, 6 days after his disappearance, Jake's Holden station wagon was located at Warner Reserve in Springvale, just over 10 minutes' drive from his house. His keys were found underneath the car. Had Jake driven the car there himself? Did he go for a walk and leave his keys under the car because he didn't have pockets? Had someone else abandoned the car there? The police extensively searched the area around Warner Reserve but found no trace of Jake. 10 years on from Jake's disappearance, his cousin Kim made a plea to the police for information. She explained that Jake had been anxious and uptight the last time that she saw him, saying that he was a little bit depressed but was seeking counselling at the time. Jake is a beautiful young man. He was 20 years old when we last saw him. He had dreams. He wanted to join the army. He's a person. He's a human being, and he deserves for us to find him somehow. His father wakes up every morning and has to deal with this, and it's really hard wondering where your child is. I'm not sure if Jake is still with us, but until we know, you do hold on to that little bit of hope that he'll be found. Victoria Police are unable to say whether Jake's disappearance was suspicious or not, but the lack of sightings and bank activity suggests that Jake may no longer be alive. There are many theories about what could have happened to Jake Lyons. One possibility is that he left to join the army, but this is unlikely as police would have been able to track him down if this was the case. Another theory is that Jake left and started a new life in the outback. This is a plausible theory according to the Cold Case and Missing Persons Squad. There is the theory that Jake met with foul play on the day that he disappeared, which would explain all the strange clues of the front door being left open and the gas stove being left turned on. The final theory is that Jake, who was having a difficult time in his life, may have decided to take his own life. Jake Lyons is described as being 178 centimetres tall, of medium build, Caucasian and with straight brown hair. He was last seen wearing a blue hooded jumper, green jeans and black runners. If you have any information regarding Jake's disappearance, please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. In 2012, a regular weekend camping trip would turn into a nightmare for the family and friends of a teenage boy who would never return home. Donny Govan, known to his friends and family as Donny, was a 16-year-old boy who lived in Ballarat with his father. On the weekend of the 31st of August, Donny joined his sister Rachel and 3 of their friends for a camping trip to the Murray River Bushland Reserve in Echuca. It was Donny's first time camping in Echuca, and the area was unfamiliar to him, so the group were excited for a weekend of relaxation and adventure. For the first day, everything appeared normal, and the teenagers were drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana. But as the sun set, tension began to rise as Donny became distrustful of 2 of the 3 friends and feared that they would hurt him. By the next morning, Donny appeared to have returned to his usual self. The group resumed their activities, unaware that this would be the last day that they would ever spend with Donny. Throughout the day on the 1st of September, Donny again consumed alcohol and smoked marijuana, and as night fell, his paranoia resurfaced, this time more intense than before. Donny was desperate to go home. but his sister Rachel explained that she couldn't drive him yet because she had been drinking throughout the day as well. She said that she would drive him home in the morning. At about 8:30 that night, Donny and the group got into an argument. Donny was chased 100 metres down a dirt track by one of his friends. Then he ran into the bush without his phone or wallet. The group waited for Donny to return, assuming that he needed time to calm down. But he didn't return, and they began searching for him, continuing well into the early hours of the morning. By 3 a.m, the temperature had dropped below 0 degrees Celsius, fear and confusion had set in, and the group called the police. The police were quick to respond, and they conducted an in-depth search, including SES volunteers and search and rescue teams on land and in the water. Police suspected that Donny may have fallen into the water due to being intoxicated, but no trace of him was found. The police received information on the 3rd of September that a woman had given Donny breakfast the morning before, which was the day after he had gone missing. She said that a teenage boy matching Donny's description had spoken to her at 10:30 a.m, nearly 10 kilometres from where Donny had disappeared. He told her that he had spent the night in the bush and was making his way to Bendigo. Police widened their search to include Echuca, Bendigo, and his hometown of Ballarat. Donny's family also searched for him, checking pubs, bus stops, truck stops, train stations and service stations, hoping that someone had seen Donny, but no one had. 2 months later, on Thursday the 1st of November, a potential breakthrough emerged. A man in Lake Boga, 90 minutes from Echuca, but in the opposite direction of Bendigo, claimed that he had encountered a teenager fitting Donny's description. The boy appeared dishevelled, approached the man's car and asked for $5. The man said that he would usually say no, but the boy looked too young to be on the streets, so he gave him $20. When the man returned home, he was certain that this teenager was Donny. The man searched the local area for Donny and found a World War II bunker that had evidence that someone had been sleeping there, and found a local newspaper article of Donny's story in there. A local homeless teenager told the man that he had seen someone matching Donny's description on the 5th of November. Despite these promising leads, Donny was never found. Donny was only 16 years old when he disappeared. He was of Caucasian appearance, 173 centimetres tall, and had a slim build. Donny had shaggy light brown hair at the time, blue-green eyes, and was wearing a spacer earring. The day he went missing, he was wearing white 3/4 length billabong shorts, a black t-shirt with a Flight Path logo on the front, and black skate shoes. Today, Donny would be 28 or 29 years old. The vanishing of Donny Govan remains one of Victoria's most perplexing unsolved cases. For his family, the grief is compounded by the uncertainty of not knowing what happened to their beloved son and brother. If you have any information regarding Donny's disappearance, please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.